All right, all right, all right. What's going on? I know some of you guys are waiting for a video from this past weekend, but you're going to have to wait a little longer because I messed up my computer and crashed it. I got a new one coming on Thursday. So I'm changing this axle out because I broke a rear axle on the RZR on Saturday. I didn't mean broke is a strong word. The boot was tore, got enough contamination in it where it finally cracked the cage. So I could have changed it earlier. But what I'm making this video about is for those people who are trying to decide between a Honda and a Polaris. Check this out. You see that? That is an awful lot of slack in that bushing. Check this out. That is an awful lot of slack in that bushing. And that would be even worse if the shock was hooked up. But watch this. This is the worst. So this sway bar, right? Don't think it's doing a lot. Every bushing on this thing is completely shot. Still around 500 miles, 540 miles. And, I mean, look at the slop. I mean, that is just garbage. This is just terrible. Every bushing on this thing is shot, and you can feel it when you drive it. It's got a lot of squeaks and pops, and the wheels lean over a lot when you go into corners. It's a little scary. Finally got my exhaust mostly cleaned out. It's having a lot of issues getting full of mud and stuff. But it seems to be doing okay now. And the rear axles, I mean, this thing doesn't really go through axles. This is the third one I've replaced, but I've been replacing them just because of torn boots. The first one actually broke because the boot was tore, and I was like, it's already contaminated. I'll just ride it till it breaks. But we did learn that with a broken rear axle, the RZR does some hilarious one-wheel drive donuts. So it kind of improved itself. So I'm not mad about the axle breaking, but I am mad about how every single bushing is shot. I ordered a set of greaseless bushings. I'm going to start installing them now, at least do this side while I've got it apart. But that's the difference between a Honda and a Polaris. A Honda will last forever if you're nice to it. It'll last forever if you're mean to it. And it'll just last forever. The Polaris will wear itself out pretty much no matter what, pretty quick. And you're going to have to do a lot of maintenance and stuff like this. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't even notice this because they don't work on their own bikes. They just take it into a shop, and the shop either doesn't care or is going to try to fuck you. But if you actually pay attention to this thing, it is not as made to last as a Honda is. It's great. It's got power, but if you can find a way to live without the power, in other words, you're not as insecure as I am, and you don't need to compensate as much, by all means, do not buy a Polaris. Get a Honda product because you won't have issues like this. That's garbage. Still not as bad as my Can-Am though, which couldn't spend the little 30 Mambas on it this weekend and smoked a belt and had chunks of belt and smoke and sparks flying out of the snorkel, which I got on video and it's going to look awesome. And I'll have that video up Thursday night. But yep, more Polaris issues.